Hello, everyone. My name is Ilya Alexev, and this is the Good Boy Podcast. The Good Boy Podcast is a podcast where we just talk about dogs. Dogs that you may have known, dogs that you've owned. And I call it the Good Boy Podcast because it's kind of inspired by some YouTube videos I've made. I just kind of wanted to get it within like the same branding or whatever. If you're on my YouTube page watching this, you've probably, hopefully, seen one of those videos where it's just about short little videos about my dogs, Mikey and Dewey, and just capturing small moments of things that they do each day. And so I wanted to make a podcast discussing dogs. In general, I'm a big podcast fan, and I've tried like thinking what could I do, and talking about dogs that we like is an easy thing. Basically everyone likes dogs. I've grown up with dogs my entire life. Mikey and Dewey are currently my third and fourth dogs that I've had. And so I just wanted to have, an hopefully easy to listen to podcast where we just talk about dogs, what we like about dogs in general, what do we like about maybe your specific dog. The goal is to have guests, so I'll be discussing dogs with them. Probably all the people I'll have on, at least in the beginning, I'll probably know their dogs personally, so who knows if that's better or worse for the show. But another kind of inspiration for this show was I walk the dogs with my brothers, and specifically my twin brother. We've walked the dogs a lot, and we would just have discussions, about all sorts of stuff. And so one time I jokingly said, like, hey, we should record this new podcast now. I was clearly joking because walking around carrying like a recorder and mics while, the dogs are doing their dog stuff and being annoying, whatever kind of things dogs do on a walk, I don't think would make for an interesting show to listen to. But I did like the idea of talking and having, a good chunk of time to discuss something. And, naturally we're with the dogs, so we would have a lot of time to talk about them. Like, hey, Mike did this, Dewey did this. So I hope this is something that people like. The goal is to try to make this fairly light. People have all sorts of stuff going on in their lives, but hopefully turn on this show and it's just something nice and pleasant to listen to. I feel like dogs are very good for comfort. They're good companions, so hopefully this show can reflect that. So if you do enjoy this show, hopefully you can leave a comment. I know that sounds lame, but if I'm just starting up, any sort of comments is great. At least I know someone is paying attention, so leave some comments. Probably the best way for feedback would be the comments of that video. I plan to only put this on YouTube. I mean, who knows if anything comes about this, but I plan it for now just for YouTube. And so anyone can just put a YouTube comment and I'll reply, or look back and use it for the next episode. So hopefully this is something that can work. Like I said, I wanted to do a podcast, and it's easy to just say you want to do something, It's a lot harder to do it and try to do it consistently and to do it well. Who knows how well I can do this, but I want to do this and have some fun dog stories. Dogs are dogs are cool. I really do agree with, man's best friend. There's a real companionship and, I don't know, friendship and love that you share between your dog, and especially my dog Mikey, who he's will turn 9 in a couple months. We've had him since he was 9 months old, so we saw him when he was a crazy pup, and he's still a little crazy energy, but he's great, and he cares about us. So I'll go more into him another time. I'll probably have my brother on if he wants to talk about him, or I'll just do a solo one and talk about him. So, so of course it's called the Good Boy series, but I don't want to discredit any female dogs. My first dog was a female dog, and she was unbelievable. I'll probably have one of my parents on to discuss her, because she was basically like a perfect dog, which is, I don't know how common that is, but it was awesome to have. And like, she was a dog who was older than me, so I didn't get to know her like extremely well, because I was just a little kid at the time. But great dog. Another thing, this is intended to just be like an audio podcast, at least for the start. So I will probably just, if you have the video open, it'll probably just be the audio and then like a picture or pictures of the dog throughout. If I have like 4 pictures, I'll figure, however many pictures I have, I'll have at least one just for kind of like the background, so you can at least see what the dog looks like, because I feel like that's an important aspect of it. And then if this goes anywhere, sure, iTunes, all those other podcast service would be awesome to have this on, and then I can set up all that other stuff like email and have people tweet me, whatever. But I hope this is a fun show to do. I don't really have an intended time length for each episode. Basically, how much you want to tell. I remember when we first got Mikey, we got him senior year of high school, and so I went to college, shortly after that. And I remember just telling someone, just on and on, like I felt almost like weird, like I would have like, oh, and one time he did this, and then he did this, and I'm like 18, 19 at the time, but I'm like going on basically like a 5-year-old, just like, and then he did this, like a kid would talk about like a movie or cartoon. So I think dogs have tremendous impacts on people, and so hopefully we can discuss that. I love any great stories. Oh yeah, so where I was going at is, there's lots of stories about each dog, so you may not have, whoever I'm talking with may not have like the best story right away, or while in the discussion they may come to mind more ideas. So hopefully you can have some good dog stories. I spent a lot of time with my dogs especially the current ones, Mikey and Dewey. So I feel like I at least have a lot to say about those guys, and we'll see how this goes. If you're still listening, thank you, and hopefully we can have a good time. So I'll come up with a more creative outro, but thanks for listening, and keep walking those dogs. Okay, I might just cut this out, so it was just for me. But another last thing I wanted to mention is I'm literally recording this in a closet right now with like no space. So, and I'm using a Rock Band mic, so I certainly plan to have way better mic and setup. So if this sounds kind of janky or bad, whatever descriptor comes to mind, I plan for future episodes to sound a lot better. So please bear with me. Wait, I thought this was a dog podcast. Please bear with me while I try to have better sounding show. So thanks again. Keep walking those dogs. And of course, I was super excited to just be finished with this, that I forgot one of the most important parts, where I just wanted to say my Twitter handle. So I'm at Ilya Alexev. It's just my name, so if you see it, if you're watching this video, you'll find it. I'll post links on Twitter when this is all ready, and I'm an active Twitter user, so that's a good place to reach me. So finally, thanks for listening, and keep walking those dogs.